All right, this is for the DC car, man. This gonna break down how the DC car operate for those of y'all that don't understand. So you see how this thing work. When we on the West Coast, we operate different than when we on the East Coast. Now sit back and enjoy this prison story. All right. All right. So unique make audio, man. I don't know if y'all been really understanding, what I've been trying to say, what the movement is, and what the understanding is. So I'm going to try and break it down to you. This one here is about how the cars operate when we out of state. So this is how the DC car operate when they out of state. And this how Lou Sims, myself, Faris, all the other, men, when we go out of state, how we have to operate. So now we're going to take you all the way to California. So now they move us out to California, but this one is going to be about my brother, Antone White. Let me show you Antone White so you know who he is. All right? Now, this Antone White, this was his welcome home party. He did about 30 joints in the feds, and he was one of the voice for the DC car. Let me explain something to you how the DC car works so y'all understand. They don't have shot callers. We don't do the shot callers from the East Coast. You understand? Just so you understand. We don't do the shot callers. Everybody's men and everybody have a voice because everybody has something to lose from their choices that others make. You understand? So if one person get into it, we all got to come together. We all got to put our minds together, and we all have to come up with a solution if we're going to push that knife, or as my man Banky Pound says, that Bethlehem. You know what I mean? Now, we ain't used that in the penitentiary, but that's what they use out there in Virginia State. Big shout out to Banky Pound. Gunshots to the OG. Now, we got Antone White, right? So I'm going to give y'all a little scenario so y'all understand a couple of different joints. I like to ride. Just ride with me, sit back, and let me do what I do. Now, we out west, and out west, all the men, Antone White, Mo Styles, Larry Moe, Minx. Let's not forget Minx from Newton Street. You know what I mean? Rest in peace. All the men come together, and they made an agreement that whatever happened on the East Coast, meaning whatever beefs that, we had together on the East Coast, that, we might have went at each other's with that Bethlehem. You know what I mean? Or in the feds, as we say, the shank or the banger. That's what we call it, the banger, because you bang them out. You know what I mean? So now, whatever happens on the East Coast, we agreed to leave it aside on the West Coast because we need to keep our numbers strong to be able to fight not only the Mexican gangbangers, but the Bloods, the Crips, you know what I mean? The Midwest, talking about, you know what I mean? The GDs and, you know what I mean? And, everything else that's out there, the Black Gorilla family, all types of gangs in the prison. So we can't separate our numbers by saying that, oh, you did this to me in Allenwood, you did this to me in Lewisburg, you did this to me in Schuylkill, you did this to me in McKean. You know what I mean? Whatever happened on the East, stay in the East until we get back to the East. Now, let me give you one. We got Antone White, and that's the way he was running his DC car with his men. That's the way the men from DC was running it. Because like I said, there is no shot caller in the DC car. Let's get that straight. It's all men that have a voice because we're all equal and we're all kings. Just like in the what's that Greek days where you got the god of fire, the god of water, you know what I mean? The god of science. You understand? You got gods from the northeast section of DC, guards from the southeast, guards from the northwest and northeast, and so on. And we all men. So no one man tells the next man what to do, but we all come together as men, or like they said in the Greek days, as gods, and decide what we're going to do and how we're going to move forward. So everybody came together that whatever happened on the east stayed in the east. Cool, you got that. Gunshots to the first lesson. Now, we out there, and a brother comes out there from true story. You know what I mean? I tell true stories. You know, I might not say certain names because I don't want to belittle anybody or let anybody feel any certain type of way. Brother come from the East Coast, right? I'm talking about DC car now, you know. Brother come from the East Coast, and he come out there, and, you know, everybody respect everybody, but they respect Tone because Tone is a gentleman killer. Let's understand that. A gentleman killer. Let me explain to you what a gentleman killer is. You got sucker killers, man. I don't respect sucker killers. I'm gonna tell you the difference between a gentleman and a sucker. You know? A sucker kills because he get angry and he gets emotional. That's a sucker. Gunshots to a sucker killer. You know what I mean? But now, a gentleman killer is a man that would look in your face and tell you what you did violated my ethical code of my conduct. So I'm telling you now, get your knife, because like they said back in the old European days, we're going to have a duel. And if y'all don't know what a duel was back then, they stand back to back and then they walk off 10 steps and then they turn around and they fire. They don't fire after 8 steps, 7 steps to try and get the up on the next man. That's a sucker killer. Gunshots to the sucker killers. Get them out the picture. But a man knows after 10 steps, he turn around and the first man to fire, and whoever is the quickest and the best aim wins. Boom. That's a gentleman. That's how you have a duel. So when we're in the prison, we'll tell our comrades, I don't like what you did. I'm ready to see you. Go get your knife so we're both on equal ground. I'm not going to pull my knife out because I have mine and you don't have yours and get the upper hand on you, because I don't have an issue with you in that order. I got an issue with whatever it is that we're dealing with, and as men, we're going to fight and stand our ground for what that issue is. Pay attention, because if you youngins talking about going to jail, thinking it's easy, this and that, this is how men handle differences. You follow what I'm saying? I know this is a little hard for y'all to understand, but you get it from a gangster's point of view. Like I said, man, this is a gangster's channel. This is not a sucker's channel. Suckers, gunshots. Get up out of here. We don't need the suckers. No suckers right now. We just need men and the youth that think that they're men on men time to understand how it works once you go into this arena called the penitentiary. Now, so you got to beef with a dude, you know what I mean? Like I said, so do y'all understand what a gentleman killer is and a sucker? A gentleman is one that say, go get your knife so we can have a fair one. You know what I mean? And you wait for him, you know, him to go get his knife, and on the next move, y'all meet up wherever, whether it's in a unit or it's in the yard, the gym, wherever. And then you both come at each other with equal ground, equal stand, and equal opportunity, and the best man wins. That's a knife fight. So you youngins understand what a knife fight is. You go to prison, you're gonna have a knife fight, or you're gonna have a sucker that's gonna try and just stab you in your back, literally, you know what I mean? Because you got an issue. But if you got an issue with your comrade, you say, I got an issue with you, go get your knife, I'm trying to see you. And you give them a fair one. Now, so this is what happens. You know, pay attention. You know, I like to ride, man. You know, I like to ride, because y'all might understand where I'm riding to, how I'm riding, why I'm riding, but just sit the hell back and let me ride. Now, so we out west, and all the men came together. Like I said, Larry Mo Styles, Titus, big shout out to Titus. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give y'all the Titus story because y'all don't know who Titus is. That's a hell of a loyal, reputable, honorable man from DC. Big shout out to Titus. Big shout out. But instead of me telling you about Titus, I'm going to bring either Titus up here or one of his comrades to speak on Titus, because that's how men respect men. So I don't want to misconstrue the story from my understanding about Titus or whatever he went through. So I'm going to bring one of the men up here to tell you about Titus, or Titus himself if he's willing to come up. But until then, I'm not going to mention Titus, because we don't do no telling over here. We just trying to help the youth, and everybody that I mentioned agreed to me mentioning them on my channel. Now, Antone White, so you understand, we call him Big Tone. So there was an understanding that whatever happens in the East Coast stays in the East. So now, there's dudes that had beefs with each other and couldn't stand each other on the East. But once we get out West, we know as men, we give our word, which is all we got, because our word is our bond, and we'll give our life before we allow our word to fail. You understand? So we give our word that whatever happened on the East will stay on the East. Gunshots to the men that honor that. You understand? Now when we get back to East, then it's fair game for me to put that Bethlehem, you know what I mean, or that knife or that banger in you. But out West, we need our numbers strong, and we're not going to weaken our numbers by bringing East Coast beef to the West Coast to have our numbers weaker so that our districts, our states can be weakened, you know what I mean, and demolished by these other gangs, because we're harboring East Coast beef on the West Coast beef, because we need our numbers, because there's not a lot of us out there. We talking about all the way in California, and we all the way from DC, New York, Philly, New Jersey, Boston, Connecticut. You understand what I'm saying? You know, come on, man. You know, so we need our numbers. So that was the agreement. So now here comes a brother that comes from DC. He comes from DC, and he sees somebody that he had a beef with on the East Coast, and he's ready to put the banger in him. So the brothers there said, hold up, the gods of DC, the men that I mentioned earlier, I don't have to keep saying their names, the gods of DC said that whatever happened on the East is on pause until we get back to the East, but out West, we keep our numbers strong. You youngins understand the mechanics of this, and now I want to explain to you what the repercussions of this is when you violate that. You understand? So now brother comes, and he got a problem with a brother from the East, and he's telling the other brothers from his section on the East, yo, we out here, and I got a beef with this nigga. Me and him got in it. He stabbed me, or he tried to stab me. Whatever happened. But the administration wanted to put me on the same compound with him, so this is my chance to get him. And nobody's going to stop me. But the brothers that's there said, but the gods, we all agreed that whatever happened on the East, we will leave on the East until we get back to the East. See, I'm slowing this down so y'all can understand the seriousness and the mechanics to how the prison is ran. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you don't think you could deal with it, don't take your ass to prison, because you will be a victim. You understand? Because when the gods make a ruling, we honor that. We honor that. So now dude comes out West, and he got a problem with a dude from DC that he had a problem with, and he wants to go put that knife in him. You understand? So the other brothers is there saying, look, we already made a truce that whatever happened on the East stays on the East, period. You know what I mean? Until we get back, then we get back to that. But right now, you got 300 Bloods, 300 Crips, 900, Mexicans, whether it's Serranos, Border Brothers, Serranos, SUR, whatever. You know what I mean? So right now, we need our numbers strong. So that was the agreement amongst the gods. But dude is saying, screw the gods. I got a problem with them. I'm taking care of it. I don't care what nobody got to say. And this is what he's running around pushing his agenda to the other men, gods on the compound. Not really to the gods, because the gods ain't going for that. He would never told that to none of the guys. He would have never told that to Larry Moe. He would have never told that to Antone White. He would have never told that to Minx. He would have never told that to Mo Styles. Let's just get that right. You understand what I'm saying? But he's telling this to the other men, to the soldiers of the compound. You know what I mean? Because when you got gods, you got soldiers, because it's a chain of command. The same as the prison have, correctional officers, they got lieutenants, they got captains, and they got a chain of command. We have a chain of command. So now when the gods come together, they make a ruling, and then they tell, their soldiers, you know what I mean? Who's also men that make their own choices, but they know to respect the opinion and decisions of the gods. Y'all paying attention? I'm giving y'all shit y'all can't get nowhere else. Cash App on the screen, man. Cash App on the screen. And let me just give you my special announcement real quick. Special announcement, man. If you go to my Cash App, $unique Mecca Hall, and it don't say Waynesworth Hall, don't send money, period. Only Unique Mecca Hall, then it'll show up Waynesworth Hall. That's my account. Nothing else is my account. All right? Now, so let me get back to that so you understand. You understand? Because this is game. That's why I put that in there, because this is game that deserves a cash. I'm giving $1, $5, like Pretty Gangster said, $10, $20 ain't going to hurt nobody. You understand? But this is what go on in the prison. You can't get this nowhere else on YouTube. You get on YouTube who's screwing who, what rapper doing this, what rapper told, what rapper this. I don't give a crap what rapper told. They're not in my life. They're not in my circle. So y'all keep telling, keep doing what you do, and stay on your side, and I will stay on mine with my men. Big shout out to Lou Sims. Big shout out to Farris. And definitely big shout out to my brother Gangsta Lou. And then we got all the other men and gangsters that I roll with. And I sit here all day. We got OG Daniel, we got Kevin Charles, we got Peter Shue. I mean, we got all types of men. And those are the ones that I stay with, so I don't care what the rappers are doing. Let the rappers do what the rappers do, and we sit back and isolate them from us. They ain't been through the struggles we've been through. They ain't been where we've been. So they don't understand and don't know what we've been through until they find themselves in our situation. Big shout out to Dominique Henry Chip. These are the men that I'm speaking for. Whatever these rappers do, let's get that straight. I don't care about that at Unique Mecca Audio. I don't judge them. They sleep at night. If they sleep good, alhamdulillah, that's on them. But us men, we can't sleep doing the crap that they're doing, trying to justify what they're doing. Let them do it and justify it on their own platforms. Period. And we're not going to judge them because we're not in the same league. That's like we trying to sit here trying to judge a politician, man. What do we care about what a Republican or a Democrat is doing when we on the street and we in the hood, man? You know what I mean? So how can we say that, this one is right and this one is wrong? I don't give a crap what the Republicans politicians are doing. I don't give a crap about what the rappers are doing, and neither do my comrades. But we understand that that's their world, and they're doing what they do in their world. But in our world, we're honorable the way we was raised. And we don't give an opinion on them. So if you want an opinion on the rappers and the politicians, you go and take your ass to the rappers and politician channels. But if you want a gangster's point of view, Cash App is on the screen. Keep it 100. This is how it is. But now, I'm riding, man. Like I said, I'm riding. Relax and let me ride. I know I go off, go on, go off. But, you know, I just took another road, but I'm still getting to the same destination. The destination is how we handle it on the West Coast when we come from the East Coast and we got beef with each other on the East Coast. You can't get game like this on no other channel. Until I get my brothers set up on YouTube where them too will be able to voice their opinions. You understand what I'm saying? So you get a variety of gangsters' opinion. But right now, I'm one of the only ones up here. You know what I mean? And you know it is what it is. And I don't knock nobody, man. Let's keep that 100. I don't knock nobody. And I watch all the other rap channels with all the rap gossip and all that for entertainment, because that's all it is. They're entertainers and they're entertaining us. And it's not a disrespect. They're doing what they do. There's no disrespect to them. And it's no judgment on them from this channel or from my men, because that has nothing to do with the roads that we traveled, period. Our code and conduct is different. The Republicans and Democrats' codes and conduct is different. That's what I want y'all to understand. Because a lot of y'all ask me to speak on this rap stuff going on. I call it rap crap. You know what I mean? Just like they call what I'm talking about gangster crap. But they're entitled like I'm entitled. I'm a journalist. I'm bringing you journalistic news on gangsters. On gangsters. Gunshots to my gangsters. Gunshots. All day gunshots. You know what I mean? And that's where we at. But now let me ride back, man, to what was we at? Atwater. Let me ride back to Atwater. So dude come to Atwater, he in the penitentiary, and he kicking it, and he's telling all the subordinates that he got that's from his hood, you know what I mean, that look up to him because he's a god, you know what I mean, on the streets. But he don't understand that in the penitentiary when we get out west, or just in the penitentiary in general, the gods come together and we make our own rules. And that's what we honor, our own rules and conduct for how we move forward at this particular time for survival. So in order to survive in the West Coast, when we got all of these different gangs, ops, as they call it now, AKA opposition, when you got all these ops against us, we can't sit there beefing with each other internally against each other. So we put it aside to keep our numbers stronger to be able to defend ourselves against the ops. Like I said, you can't get these jewels nowhere else, man. I know this is fascinating. I'm going to tell you like this, man. I'm going to keep it 100. For you suckers watching this that don't understand it, don't like it, you understand? Whatever, there's a button you can hit to go to a rap channel. But for the men and women, the kings and queens, the gangsters and gangsterettes that want the real, how it's ran amongst the guards in the penitentiary, you're welcome to sit and listen. But you other suckers, gunshots, get the fuck up out of here. I don't need you niggas. You know what I mean? Because y'all nothing but in the way. Those are the trolls that look for flaws, you know what I mean, in the content that people put up here on YouTube. There is no flaws in my content because I'm speaking from a gangster's point of view. I stayed in prison 26 years. They offered me to tell on my own brother after he caught 2 to the head and said, let's clean out this case by you telling us what happened, and we'll give you immunity. Immunity means that we will release you back into society once you tell us what happened. Your brother is dead. So therefore, he's not going to do any time. You're not telling on him. All that crap. No, it is me telling on him, whether he's dead or alive. I'm telling on him. And I tell on no man, dead or alive. I know this is brand new to y'all, man, but like I said, this is a gangster's channel. That's why my cash app is up there, man. Let me give you my special announcement again. Whoever got an attitude with it, man, go suck your mothers. You know? Special announcement, man. If you go to my cash app, $ unique Mecca Hall, and it don't say Waynesworth Hall, don't send money. Period. Only unique Mecca Hall. All right, that's it. Only unique Mecca Hall. When it says Waynesworth Hall, that's where you send your money. Because we got these suckers trying to gain from, you know what I mean, from my work that I'm putting in, knowing they wouldn't stand in front of me, not even with a pistol, and say, give me your money. But they go on the keyboard and play these fake games. But I tell you what, Allah is good. He's going to allow our path to cross, and then they'll have to deal with the wrath. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to look for them because Allah's going to bring them to me. You know what I mean? But let me get back to where I'm at. We riding, man. And I apologize if I'm a little aggressive. This is no disrespect to nobody. I'm talking to the men, women, kings, queens, gangsters, and gangsterettes. That's all I'm talking to right now. Not the suckers that got an issue. Because if you say some stupid ass shit in my comment, I will just block you. And then you go spend your time and make another fake YouTube page and come back and do it again. You know, and I'll do it again. Because I got great moderators. Big shout out to Derek Easter Day. Big shout out to Pretty Gangster. Big shout out to Double R. Big shout out, you know, to Bigger BX. You know what I mean? I got gangsters that watch this keyboard for you fake gangsters. So just put a positive comment or put a respectable disagreement to what I'm saying. And I'll respond to it. You can disagree. You're entitled to disagree. But don't come up here calling names and going off and all of that. That's why I say I respect the ones that respect themselves and carry on how they're supposed to carry on and want to learn the jewels to this game and the story. But anyway, to speed this up, let's ride. All right? Now, we out there, dude telling his homies. I hope y'all can keep up. That's what I'm saying. The people that say, oh, you be getting off topic, this and that, those are the niggas, you know what I mean? And niggerettes that don't understand, you know, what's going on. If you could focus, you know what I mean? You can move forward. You could elevate. You know what I mean? So if I go down to pull over to go get some blunts in the middle of a conversation, jump out, go get some blunts at a Heineken and come back, get in the car, I pick the conversation up where I left off, and all the men and women, kings and queens, gangsters and gangsterettes, they understand where I'm at and where I left off. Because we're on the same plane. But the suckers that can't keep up is the ones that got lost because they say, oh, he done went down 10 different topics. Yeah, 10 different roads, but I'm getting to the same destination. Back to Atwater. You know what I mean? So now we out there, dude telling the, you know, the homies from his neighborhood that he's the big homie too. Man, I can't believe they this and that. I got a beef with this nigga. They telling me I ain't supposed to do nothing to this nigga when the nigga violated me on the east and he did that on the east. And they trying to explain to him that, yo, but we out west and we need our numbers strong, so we can't do that. You know what I mean? This is his little homies dropping jewels on him that he can't comprehend because he's too effing emotional. And his emotions is telling him to get even. Instead of his survival instincts telling him fall back and we'll deal with this on the east, Let's come together now because our numbers is stronger when we're together. And being that these Europeans sent us all the way out west and our numbers are weaker, we have to stick together to keep our numbers stronger. And that's why I said there is no shot caller for DC. There is no, big homies and all of that. You know what I mean? It's men in DC. It's men in New York. It's men in Philly. It's men in Jersey. It's men in Baltimore. It's men in, in Maryland. It's men in Delaware. It's men in Connecticut, in Boston. But we come together and we make our own rules in order to survive in whatever environment we wind up in, because none of this is a natural environment. So we have to figure out how to survive and navigate in this twisted environment that these Europeans crammed us into and allow us to kill each other. Cash App on the goddamn screen. You know what I mean? Let's get this right. I don't care if it's a damn dollar. Or just give me an emoji. Or go to my my podcast and download something on my podcast, and that's just as good. You know what I mean? I got the Roku channel up now, the Roku, whatever the hell they call it. You can go to Roku and watch Unique Mecca Audio and check these joints out on your big screen and relax or whatever. But now, dude is telling his little homies that he want to go put the knife in another, big homie or another man because of what happened on the East, and they're trying to break down the Jews to him and how the gods agreed to run it on this side. Man, this shit is so fly, man. I feel good even sharing it to you. Because y'all need to know this so the youth know, don't go to prison. Because if you're too emotional to follow these rules, this is what's going to happen to you. Him doing that, you know what I mean? The little homies went back and told the gods, and nah, you fake sucker trolls, gunshots to y'all. It wasn't telling, because we all in this together, and one man's actions would change the course and conduct of the whole car. So they brought it back to the car and told the gods, yo, homie is saying he wants to go do something to homie, boom, 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 bop, 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 and he ain't trying to go by the rules. You understand what I'm saying? So my man Tone, you know what I mean? He push up on dude and he tell dude straight up, you know what I mean? Yo, I'm going to tell you one time. You understand? It was crazy because it was in my unit, right? I'm sitting there watching TV. Let me get to you now. I'm a little serious. Let me get back into my little jokey joke. I'm sitting there watching TV and I see dude over there talking to her, one of his little homies, and he's, basically telling me, I don't care what Tone say, Larry Moe say, Mink say, Milk Moose Styles, Titus, I don't like that nigga, so I'm going to put the knife in him. And he got all this gangster talk. He talking to the little homie, and he telling this homie how he going to put his work in. And then Tone walks in the unit. Tone not even in my unit. Tone walks in the unit, walk over to the microwave where the little homie was cooking, and, his big homie telling him how he going to do what he want to do, screw what the gods decided. So Tone walked up on him and said, yo, my man, didn't we tell you that whatever happened on the beach, stay on the East? That's what told him, straight up as a man, you know what I mean? Stood there square and said, yo, didn't we tell? And he didn't get all loud where everybody looked, but I knew what was going on, so I knew what was being said from the body language and reading the, the lips. So told him, didn't, we tell you when you got here that whatever happened on the East, stay on the East, And being that dude was already on his gangsterism, talking to his homie. You understand what I'm saying? His little homie. He turned around and he said it to him, man, I don't care what nobody say. Right there, he'd already said he violating the code and conduct that we set as men. Tone just backed out to banging and went to banging him. You know what I mean? Because there was nothing else to say. What else was there to say? The man said, screw the code and conduct that the gods put in place. So now Tone didn't go running to all the other gods to say, oh, he's bucking. Tone pulled out and banged his ass up right there. So if you youngins want to go there to deal with this type of lifestyle, feel free. Because I didn't want to listen when I was your age. But there was nobody giving it to me like I'm giving it to y'all when I was your age. But right there, he butchered him right there in front of the microwave of my unit. And then turned around and walked out the unit. And I'm going to keep it 100. The administration, they peeked everything. They sat in the police's office in their station, watched it, act like they wasn't looking, let it play out. When Tone left, dude was sitting there bloody. Dude got up, limped out, you know what I mean? And went back to his unit. And that's when his other homies was waiting on him and said, well, one of the guards made a move and felt that you're no longer wanted here. So either you go up top, because you're my big homie, you know what I mean? But you violated the rules and conduct of the land that we're now placed and forced to survive in. So either you go up top, and as much as I love you, or I got to stab you. I don't want to stab you, but I will stab you. Cash App on the goddamn screen. Let's get this thing right. Special announcement, man. If you go to my Cash App, $unique Mecca Hall, and it don't say Waynesworth Hall, don't send money. Period. Only Unique Mecca Hall, then it'll show up Waynesworth Hall. That's my account. Nothing else is my account. Alright? So that's how that played out. So if you youngins want to enter this world, listen, I hate that I had to live like this. And I know the other gods hate they had to live like this. That's why we all coming together now to try and tell y'all what's going on the other side of the wall, that these fake niggas that sat in the cut and peeked out their door and got a glimpse of how the men was carrying it because they was scared to death, and then they come home and they get on YouTube and say, oh, it's easy doing time. It was nothing, nigga. I do it again. I this and that. No, we'll do it again if we're forced to do it again. If we're placed in that environment, we'll do it again. But we're not going to do anything to willingly wind up back in that situation. And any nigga that tell you, yeah, I go back to jail like it ain't nothing, he was hiding. He wasn't surviving. Because it wasn't nothing nice on the inside. And every nigga watching this would say that. There's dudes that come out here that can't function after functioning like that. They can't twist their mind to regroup, reorganize, and restructure to society like me and the other gods did. So they wind up back in prison for whatever reason, no disrespect to them. It just means that they're not ready because they've been institutionalized. Because I too was institutionalized. Because I followed these rules and conduct of the land that we set. You see how my content is different? You see how my content is unique? You're not going to get this nowhere else until I get my brothers up here on the podcast. I'm working with my brother, Johnny Fresh. Look out for him. He's getting ready to start a podcast. I'm going to bring my men up here to YouTube so I'm not the only one speaking. Because like I said, we gods, man. But when we come together, we bring the power. And that's where we become Allah. A-L means the. Al. A-L means the. Law, you know what I mean, is the deity. So the power of the deity. You know what I mean? That's it. You know what I mean? So when we come together, you know what I mean, we make a law. But we're individually gods. But when we come together, then we're the power. We're the deity. We have to move forward and respect each other and keep our legacies alive. Like I said, only thing I want on my tombstone, besides my name, is the word honorable. And I'm sure my other gods agree. And when I say gods, I don't mean God of you and God of all this religious stuff. I'm saying gods of our field, Like we got gods of the crack era, gods of the stick-up field, gods of the credit card scam, and that's all it is. Y'all didn't have a problem when they said that Zeus was a god and, Hostilities was a god. And you understand what I'm saying? But we're just gods of our era. But we're not gods over you. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Do you understand the words that are coming out my goddamn mouth? If not, there's other channels that speaks your language. But if you're trying to learn my language, you're welcome here at Unique Mecca Audio. Put your comments in the bottom, and I got so many people watching that's not subscribing, but they watching daily. Hit that subscribe button. If you're not going to send the Cash App, which is on the screen, hit the subscribe button. That's all I'm asking. Hit the emoji. Go download a video at Unique Mecca Audio Podcast. Go check out my videos at Roku.com. I mean, support in other ways. I don't need your financial support. I welcome it, but you can support in other ways. And this is what we do for each other. Now, I'm going to play this one more time before I tap out because a sucker that wouldn't come up to me in person done duplicated my account. They didn't hack it, so I still get my money at $Unique Mecca Audio. $Unique Mecca Hall. $, it's on the screen, Unique Mecca Hall, but it must say Wainsworth Hall. If it say Unique Mecca Hall after you put in, if you say Unique Mecca Hall after you put in $Unique Mecca Hall, that's not my account. That's how slick these suckers is. And Allah is going to bring me to them. I'm not worried about it. Allah is going to bring me to them. But now I'm just talking to y'all just so you understand. It must say Wainsworth Hall after you put in the $. Or you can go to my PayPal. What's that? You can get my PayPal is a Roy in Harlem. You know what I mean? But you could go to my Zelle. You go to Zelle and put in Wainsworth Hall, my government name, and whatever you donate will come to me, also at Zelle. All right? Now, special announcement, man. If you go to my Cash App, $Unique Mecca Hall, and it don't say Wainsworth Hall, don't send money. Period. Only Unique Mecca Hall, then it'll show up Wainsworth Hall. That's my account. Nothing else is my account. Alright? Now, so that's where we at. Now we got that straight. But that's how that was played out. To recap it for those of y'all that couldn't keep up, I'm going to give it to y'all in layman terms all in one quick whop. We're already at 43 minutes, but I'm going to just sum it up. Bottom line is we made an agreement that whatever happened on the East, stay in the East. We out West. So while we out West, if we had a beef with somebody, we left it alone. We going to see them. We go back out East. Dude comes over to the compound. He's not used to structure. So he comes out there, he sees somebody got a beef in, he ready to put the knife in. He's like, I don't care where we at, I'm gonna put the knife in him. But now you go and that other homie go and our numbers is 2 men short of fighting 300 Bloods, 300 Crips, 900 Mexicans with all their different gangbanging. And another 300 when you talk about the GDs and the gangster disciples and the vice lords, if there's an issue, but we tried to get along with everybody. But if shit hit the fan, we need our numbers strong. So dude kept talking and violating. Word got back to Tone that dude was talking crap, so Tone went in the unit and put the joint in him. Tone didn't run to go get no help, go do none of that. He felt instead of getting all the gods caught up where they go down, you know what I mean, for stabbing this one dude, he said, I'm going to go handle this myself to himself. And he went and handled his business. And the gods supported it. Because if the police would have got on some other time and would have locked them up for stabbing each other or stabbing one another or whatever, you know what I mean? It would have only been Tone and the one other man instead of Tone and the other or 5 or 6 other gods. Y'all understand that? That's the short version for you lame ass niggas that don't like the way I ride. Gunshots to you niggas, man. Let me get up out of here. All right, so you know it is what it is, man. I ain't got time for this crap. So you know I'm gonna just tap out, man.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Fresh out the can of 26, yeah. Heat back on the strip, getting back in the mix. Yeah. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Real. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. An Instagram page and a YouTube you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community yours. So we